friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. So generally speaking, typically we don't do podcast episodes on Thursday. We do the live watch along on the Twitch of the UK, and then we do some Numbers Don't Lie, and then later on we do the Smash Zone. No Smash Zone tonight because I'm going to go to Sacramento Kings game, but we were midway through our NXT UK stream, and then word came down that Cesaro is leaving the WWE. Larson, what's going on?
So news broke, as you mentioned, from PW Insider that Cesaro apparently is done with WWE. This is what they had to say. Quote, WWE star Cesaro has quietly exited WWE after his current contract expired. They have confirmed. They continue, quote, we are told two sides had been in negotiations but had not come to terms on a new agreement. One source noted that WWE did offer Cesaro an extension on his current deal, but that was turned down. This would be a case of Cesaro's contract expiring, so there'd be no 90-day no-compete shortly thereafter. Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp confirmed. PW Insider's report now. You're probably sitting here thinking, like we saw this news break, hey, didn't Cesaro sign a new deal with WWE just last year?
Right.
And the answer to that question is, according to reports, yes, because Cesaro did apparently sign a new deal with the company about a year ago, according to Dave Meltzer, who said, quote, there have been reports going around regarding the status of Cesaro. Either he signed or verbally agreed to a new deal a few weeks ago. And then he talked about the gauntlet match in the lead up to Elimination Chamber last year. This is exactly almost a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be in a gauntlet match, taken out of that. Nakamura kind of got his spot of having a good run in there. After that, also February of last year, Cesaro was asked by Ryan Satin about his contract status, and Cesaro kind of pushed on the question, choosing not to divulge whether he'd signed a new deal or not, though in Fightful's report about Cesaro's departure issued today, Fightful Select's report, they confirmed that Cesaro just signed a one-year extension last year.
All right.
Not a long-term deal, just a one-year extension, which would explain why seemingly it's almost exactly a year after reports were they signed a new deal, he's walking away from WWE.
Kind of makes sense. I mean, it's kind of surprising that WWE would have agreed. I mean, generally speaking, they sign people to like 3 to 5 year deals. So it's kind of surprising they would have agreed to like a 1 year extension. But smart for Cesaro because, obviously the landscape was changing quite a bit a year ago. There was a lot unknown. Now quite a bit more is known. Now he's a free agent. The big question becomes, what's he going to do now? He can go wherever he wants, assuming that they offer up what he wants. Where would you potentially what do you think is like the best fit for Cesaro? You think this is a good move for him? I mean, they obviously had not done a hell of a lot with Cesaro ever since he lost to Roman Reigns. He got that sort of Roman Reigns thing, and then he lost there. And then they really have not been. He's been teaming kind of with Ricochet as like a loosely thrown together thing. But even that, is strenuous or as tenuous as best.
Yeah. So he beat Seth at WrestleMania last year. And then at WrestleMania Backlash is when he got the title shot against Roman. And those two things happened after he reportedly signed this new 1 year extension. So, he signed the new deal, got a huge win at Mania, got a title opportunity, and then seemingly after that, they had nothing else for him.
Yeah, nothing.
So if it was a situation where last year, negotiations opened up for a new, potentially long-term deal, if Cesaro says, I'll stick around for another year, we'll do another year, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
And if, apparently, obviously, WB agreed to those terms, if those were the terms that, he kind of put out there.
Yeah.
A year later, 8, 9 months ago, 10 months ago, he was at a main event program. Since then, not much. It's completely understandable why he would think, okay, maybe now is the time for me to go explore other options if this is what my future in WWE is gonna entail.
Yeah, I mean, the dude, he continually is one of the most creative individuals in the ring. I feel like, probably the one thing that was holding back, obviously, is I don't know if he connected with the fans in the way that Vince really wants his main roster wrestlers, superstars, if you will, to connect with fans. He was one of their best wrestlers, and I feel like WWE always sort of held him back in that respect. I mean, he's been, and it's kind of crazy because he's been with the company since 2011, so this is like over 10 years now that he's been with the company. He signed in September of 2011, was in Florida Championship Wrestling, and so on and so forth. But yeah, he's always found a way to be creative, very clever in the ring, and I feel like the landscape of pro wrestling at this point is such that we get to see what he can do, really. I personally, as a fan of the guy, would love to see him in a place like, well, there's sort of two things that would be kind of interesting. One would be New Japan, if he'd be interested in making that trek, because so much there are so many potential matchups there, and I feel like New Japan kind of needs an infusion of some fresh matchups within their promotion to sort of get things a bit more exciting over there. But to see him in matches against, God, you name it, I'd love to see any of that stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And then whatever they might be doing with Ring of Honor in the near future, they apparently they got like a new logo. They're gonna sort of reimagine, I guess, their business model and how they do things. Maybe freshen up their presentation with however they're going to be presenting their product. I would love to see him back in Ring of Honor because, the matchups there potentially, if they go back to like, if they use Gresham as sort of the model of what they want to do as opposed to what they were doing before, which is a bit more of a mishmash. If they focus on that, there's so much good in like sort of just pure wrestling out there. And if that's what they focus on, freshen up their presentation, I would love to see that if they're going to open up, the checkbook for a guy that would command that kind of money. AEW it's so packed right now. I just don't. I imagine he might not find himself in the same position as he was in WWE, but I don't know if he'd be featured as much in AEW, just given how many people are already there.
I know. The roster is incredibly deep. And you got to imagine that Tony Khan is probably going to add more people. Cesaro could be one of those individuals. And I think, given an opportunity to showcase what he can really do in an AEW ring, he'd be wildly successful. From a character aspect, yes, you could say he's had struggles connecting to the audience. In terms of people appreciating what he can do in the ring, that connection was made long ago, and people who really like Cesaro really like Cesaro. He's got a very devoted fan base, and in a place where in AEW where in-ring storytelling is kind of prioritized, he might achieve a level of success there that he never could in WWE, just based on how they book stuff in AEW. Impact's another option. Impact's doing some really fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got this Ring of Honor invasion thing going on right now. There's a lot of good wrestlers in Impact for him to have some really good matches against. There's GCW too. Yeah. He can join up with GCW and wrestle for them. There's a lot of options.
I'd love to see Impact really take that next step. It's like, I feel like they have again, man, we did this as sort of a gag not long ago over at Friendo Club TV where we did like a free agent draft, and the level of talent out there is nuts. It really is.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And so like, I'd like to see Impact take that next step up from like the kind of venues they're running into like maybe a little bit bigger venues. Whether or not the audience is there to justify it, I don't know, but they do have some absolutely terrific talent, and it does feel like they're on the precipice of where they're at right now to getting to that next level. And maybe a guy like Cesaro, who's familiar with weekly television. Obviously they bulk tape, but who's familiar with that kind of storytelling because it's not unlike, WWE, the way they approach things. I think he could be a major player there. And I think given that AEW is so loaded, if Impact has the money, which they seem to have, it's just getting people to actually sign there. This could be a big get for Impact, and maybe he can help them go to that next level. He's going to have some options, and it's a matter of who's going to take advantage of the strengths he brings to a product will depend on where he goes. Before we dive into this next story about another person with AEW who's not going to be a free agent, about 5 minutes ago from when we're recording this, has been confirmed. WWE broke this on their Twitter account. Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey will be Saturday, April 2nd. So you got to figure that's going to main event night one.
I would think that would probably main event night one. Yeah,
sort of where we were thinking that was going to go. I was hoping it would be Becky Bianca. I was hoping that they'd find justification for that.
Same. I was hoping that would main event night one too. By the looks of it, seems like it's probably going to be Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey.
All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, BetterHelp. So, Larson.
Yes.
I'm sure you know that relationships often take work. A lot of us will drop everything and go out of our way to help someone we care about, but how often do we give ourselves that same treatment?
BetterHelp is here to remind us that you got to take care of the most important relationship in your life, the one you have with yourself. Several years ago, I started dealing with severe anxiety. It was then that I learned firsthand how important it was to take care of myself and talk to a therapist. But I also learned that it could be really tough to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp's online therapy makes that process of finding a therapist much more convenient by offering video, phone, or even live chat therapy sessions. And you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours.
Remember that you are your greatest asset, so invest as much time in yourself as you do the others in your life. Check out our sponsor, BetterHelp. And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/raw.
That's BETTERHELP.com/raw. Steve, you mentioned this. You teased this. Might as well get into it. So we haven't seen Brian Cage on AEW television since October. So about 4 months.
Oh my gosh, it's been that long, huh?
Yeah. And we both kind of figured, I think, that his days, the promotion were probably numbered. He's kind of aired some grievances about his booking, his role in the company. His wife, Melissa Santos, has done the same. But according to Fightful Select, word going around backstage at Dynamite this week is that Cage was telling those close to him that his AEW option has, in fact, been picked up. So seemingly, he will be sticking around in All Elite Wrestling.
That is surprising, given that we haven't seen him in a long time. Him and his wife have been vocal about, them wanting for Brian Cage to be used more. I think he is one of the guys. It's funny to have seen this happen because we get to see the company from the inception. And he was one of the first names that it was like, oh, that was the free agent market back then. It was like he was a big name on the free agent market. And so they got him for what was it? It was he was the Joker in the Casino Battle Royal.
One of the it's a ladder match though.
Yeah, right. It
wasn't one of the Battle Royals. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, came on really strong. He was a centerpiece for Team Taz, and then Team Taz grew into a different thing. And yeah, I'd love to see him. I don't know where, like,
I've been saying for a while, put him in a tag team, put him and like Lance Archer together. That's two kind of
big dudes,
powerhouses. Teaming up is something that the tag division there outside of Bear Country, but they're mostly on Darker Elevation. That AEW's tag division is kind of lacking right now. You know,
monsters. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so it'd be kind of interesting. I don't know how you'd put them together.
Yeah,
but something like that, where and especially if you team him with Archer. Archer's got some personality. You got Jake there helping out with the promo aspect. Because Brian Cage in the ring is a really good wrestler. It's the character aspect that seemingly is having a hard time connecting with the audience based on. The character aspect of thing, not his wrestling. He's a really good wrestler.
Put him in a stable of monsters. Archer, him, break 10 off away from the Dark Order. Put Miro in that. Miro should be by himself.
Yeah,
Miro's he's got his own issues with God.
Yes.
But yeah, I kind of feel, or bring his wife in, bring Melissa Santos in, and have her be his mouthpiece. I don't know. I do feel like he kind of needs that though. Like he's not. Yeah. He sort of loses a bit of his thing when he opens up his mouth. And I mean, it's not promos isn't everybody's thing. But he's a very creative wrestler. A guy his size and his build doing the things that he does is sort of like that's what he brought to the game, and it was very fun to see him. And then you see him in there with Team Taz, and it's like, well, he's got no chemistry with these other guys. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, hopefully he's finding what he's looking for there, and Tony Khan, maybe he'll have. You got to figure he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna continue to pay this guy for a year. I'm gonna do something with him.
You would think so. Tony Khan doesn't seem to be the type of business person or promoter that's going to pay someone just to not have him wrestle.
Feels like, yeah, he does. He comes off as a guy who doesn't want to be wasteful with his money.
And if it's a situation where if Cage didn't want to be there, you would think, okay, that would be expressed to Tony Khan, and Tony Khan would be like, all right, I understand. We'll let you go when your contract expires, or when your contract expires, you can go and explore other options. Mm-hmm. So you'd think there has to be some willingness on both sides for the relationship in AEW to continue.
Gee whiz, yeah. You're right. It's been, what is this show? Oh, he was on the Jericho cruise in October. And then ever since then, I mean, he's done stuff. He's been he was at the XPW Rebirth show. That's right.
That's right.
Is he currently XPW champion? It says he defeated Willie Mack. Yeah.
Think so, yeah.
Yeah. Is that Future Stars of Wrestling? So Hammerstone beat him at Future Stars. Yeah, he's been doing quite the he's doing Warrior Wrestling there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting
stuff. Supposed
stuff.
to be booked here locally.
He was, he was meant to be
Sacramento area.
Yeah, last weekend's Supreme Pro Wrestling show. He's supposed to be there, and for whatever reason, he couldn't be there. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's a clean slate. They should give him the slot of parking lot warrior that they were going to give to Wardlow. Remember that when Wardlow was coming in, he was going to be like a parking lot fighter. From what I gathered, it is in his vignette.
So actually, let me see here. So he was in those. So October 6th on Rampage was the last TV match he's had. It was the Philadelphia street fight.
Okay.
Between Starks and Brian Cage.
Okay, yeah.
October 6th, 2021. That was his last TV match, because I don't think any of the Jericho Cruise matches were televised.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. I'm just trying to do something here in chat. It says, how can everyone leave WWE before Ali? Man, I wonder if Mustafa Ali just sort of played that wrong. I mean, I think he tweeted something like he still has like 4 years left on his contract.
2.5.
It's 2.5. Okay. It's like 2.5 years left on his contract. But I don't know. I wonder if it was sort of a matter of him being like, oh, I just want to get out of here. But sometimes you got to play it. You got to play it more smart,
Well, I don't know. I don't know what happened before he tweeted out his request to be released. I don't know if he tried to do it internally and his request fell on deaf ears, and he felt like that was the only recourse he had.
Going public is never the way to go.
I don't know. It worked out for Andrade. He requested his release publicly, and just a short time thereafter, he was released.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I got a question thread up. What would you? So yeah, you'd put Cage in a tag team match.
I've been saying that for a while. Put him in tag team. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Give him a rebrand. Give him a repackage. Give him a name change. That's what Tony Khan should do. These guys that he's like, I don't really know what to do with these guys. He should like WWE him up a little bit, New name change. Just make him a different person. Like a Kane type. Do that. Put a mask on him. Act like he's a different person.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, man. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and answer some of these questions here. Don Wagner. Oh, this was also a thing too. We'll talk about this real quick. Thanks, Don Wagner, for reminding me about this. Jeff Hardy totally just said he's going to AEW.
This is like the least surprising bit of news.
It is. It totally is. But this is great. This is awesome. So 3 hours ago, you know that awesome. I forget what the story exactly was, but there was a journalist. His name is Jared Yates Sexton, and he was working on this story for like a year. And this, I think it was like on a politician or something. And this politician just tweets out this little bit of news about himself. Mm-hmm. And this journalist says, I worked on this story for a year and he just tweeted it out. Like, I put all this work into it. I was going to break this thing. And Sean says, me when Jeff Hardy says I'm going to AEW. What was the context of this? Because I read this too.
Because it's a YouTube channel. Someone named Jared
here it
Myers.
is. Yeah.
He was interviewing Hardy, and Hardy just says, "quote I'm going to AEW. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous and excited."
Yeah.
That was yesterday, and then today, he tweeted a bit of a correction because I don't think legally he's still there's no compete. He could say, "I'm going someplace." He says, quote, nothing is official. I've simply set a goal for myself and I will achieve it eventually. The main thing is don't get excited.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nothing based on what he said here makes it sound like he's actually signed a contract. It's just like, yes, if he had prefaced this with him saying, yeah, when my no compete is up, I'm going to AEW, you know.
Yeah. You always have to be careful with the legal stuff, especially when WWE seems to like, oh, you don't want Hall of Fame ain't good enough for you, huh? All right, well, maybe we're going to do something petty because we're WWE.
I know.
Maybe
we'll file a tampering lawsuit.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So Don Wagner asked, with Jeff Hardy saying he's going to AEW, power rank tag feuds with Matt, you want the most singles matches that would pique your interest.
Well, because there's all sorts of great tag teams there. Like they've that Battle Royal illustrated one thing. It's like they have so many tag teams.
They got
there.
a lot.
That's why that's the only reason I'd be hesitant to put Cage in a tag team. I get your point though. It's like it's something different to the tag teams. But what's the first thing?
The first match that popped in my head, and someone had to tell him, you guys have to dial it back. Jeff Hardy versus Darby Allin.
Oh man, that's a terrible idea. Because you could tell him, Tony Khan himself could be like, hey guys, dial it down. And they'd be like, sure, okay, right.
Be like, okay, Tony.
Tony. Tony, dial it down, huh? Okay.
Yeah. All right, we get what you're saying. They're jumping off like
exactly, yeah.
The mezzanine and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's cool. Dude, I don't know, man. There's so much great stuff. I honestly like do something cool. I don't know, something cool with the House of Black fellas. I think they're terrific.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Greg Morris, top 3 Claudio dream matches you want to see now. Give me Claudio versus Okada.
Jay White.
Number 1. Jay White's good too. And then I'm sure they've wrestled a bunch in the past, but I'd like to see Claudio versus Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've seen Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I want to see Claudio versus Bryan Danielson.
Claudio versus Evil. That's the match, man. That's the match. Claudio in House of Torture.
No.
Come on, man. All those wonky Dick Togo finishes.
Most of the House of Torture stuff is borderline, if not flat out unwatchable.
Wow. He'll make it
the match
watchable.
Evil versus Ishii at Wrestle Kingdom was unwatchable. It was an awful match.
Jonathan's got it. Claudio versus Kenta. That'd be good stuff.
That would be really good too. That'd be
Claudio
really good.
Versus who else is in House of Torture? Show.
Well,
that actually legitimately be. That would be
good. Yujiro Takahashi.
Perfect. He's in House of Torture.
Yeah.
Is Bad Luck Fale? Was he?
I don't know what his affiliation is within Bullet Club. I don't know. Nick Bartlett. If Roman loses to Brock at Mania, where do you see Roman going storyline wise? I mean, I assume facing The Rock at Mania next year. But if that doesn't happen, if The Rock can't do it, they got to start building up somebody.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, where do I see his storyline going? I see him smashing. You know, line him up, smash him, stack him, pin him, and then get back to Brock. But I don't know, man. Like, what kind of, let's on a scale of 1 to 10, where are your confidence points on Roman beating Brock at Mania?
Let's say night 2, how many matches? 6 matches? 8 matches?
Yeah.
That sounds like a fair assessment.
Sure, yeah.
We'll say 6. No, we'll say sets. 8. I think it'll be 8.
8 matches or 8 confidence points?
8 matches.
8 matches. Okay. All right.
6.
What other matches are going down?
I don't know you know if WWE knows this yet. There's like 4 matches announced for the whole card over 2 days.
You think Knoxville is going to beat Sami Zayn?
I have to wait to see the go-home math on that one.
Who's Miz fighting? I don't know what's going on.
Miz and Logan Paul versus Dom and Rey Mysterio.
Oh,
Dom and Rey are winning that.
Oh, yeah. Dom and Rey are winning that. Sammy's eating the pin there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what Brock does if he loses to Roman. Take some time off and then what? Like he's so overpowered. He's fit for one opponent. That's Roman Reigns. If Brock's saying on Pat McAfee, I want to stick around a little while. Well, I don't know to do what, because they've just booked you to the moon against everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a piece of shit compared to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. That's sort of the position they're in. Yeah, so I don't know.
I don't know either. Wrestling Graham, is the night after Mania too late for Cody to come back? I don't think his options for Mania are super fitting, so why not wait till more of the roster is freed up? I feel like if you wait till after Mania, that's 6 more weeks. They're losing a lot of buzz. You got to strike while the iron's hot. That's my idea. It's sort of like when Brett, post Montreal Screwjob, he was a free agent. They should have got on with WCW TV as soon as they could.
Yeah, wasn't there some weird thing that was like keeping them from doing that?
Maybe.
Like I always remember, I thought there was like a contractual thing that they couldn't. But then Bischoff was like, yeah, I probably should have done that. So maybe they could have. I don't know. But yeah, they did that Brett thing wrong. And Bischoff blaming it on Brett is a bunch of bullshit. If he had shown up and they had some inspired idea for him, I guarantee he'd have been into it. Mm-hmm. Stumbling over his words and stuff. Yeah, no, Cody, going back to the Cody thing. Yeah. No, he's got to show up like tonight. What is today? No, tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday.
Friday.
He's got to show up. Put him on TV. I mean, I get it last week.
Assuming he's signing with WWE.
Oh, man, he's signing with WWE. That's happening. They would not be. He's like Veer right now. They're just waiting for something they're waiting for some shit to fall into place. They're waiting for Stone Cold Steve Austin to sign a contract or not. And then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I think WrestleMania is always win now mode. Like they just try to load it up as much as they can, and they ride the rest of the year on that.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see here. Dirty Rich, with AJ re-signing, when does he get a world title reign? Another world title reign. He hasn't been a victim of Roman Reigns, has he? Like a proper feud for Roman since he's been back?
I don't think so.
AJ Styles, I mean, he's not going to get. Here's the thing: he's not going to get a reign, but he'll have a feud.
He'll
with
get
Roman.
A Reigns.
He'll get
Roman Reigns.
He'll get Reigned. He'll get smashed, but it'll be a hell of a good match. What? He just said, is this true? Larson's got breaking news. My God, what is it with today?
No, it's not breaking news. This is from Jorge D. It says Brian Cage tweeted to Sean, who told you this information? So I'm just double checking.
Uh-oh. Sean Ross Sapp about to reveal his sources. Oh, man.
Okay, so it was another news outlet picked up the Fightful Select thing, and he responded, not sure who I told all of this to. Let me check on
Ooh. Following the breadcrumbs. I'll move on with this question as you do that. Hart the Dutchie says, with Finn possibly teasing an allegiance with AJ on Raw the other week, do you find it even remotely plausible that perhaps at WrestleMania, Cody will debut as the theoretical third man in the new OC? Cody, he never came off his Bullet Club to me. He barely, was talking about, I want to change the Bullet Club logo. He just seemed like he was there to do Cody. And then he was like, oh, I could do that in the Bullet Club. And then he was like, oh, wait, no, I can do this in the Elite. That's better. I can make more money doing that. So I don't know that I see him as like Bullet Club material or even OC material. I don't know.
No, but I guess the idea that WWE doesn't really, I don't know if they really care whether how into Bullet Club he may have been, if they can present him as part of that idea.
Yeah.
Not that Bullet Club has the impact or the cool factor that it did 4 or 5 years ago, but still.
Yeah. Well, now like, all that cool factor has gone over to House of Torture. I mean, I went to Hot Topic the other day. There was a whole row of shirts. It was all House of Torture, man. Evil, Gato, Dick Togo GIF.
That I know is not true.
Yeah, man. Show.
We need a lenticular shirt of.
I'm telling you, man, LED material. We have to do that. Jorge D here also, he says Brian Cage wants to control his narrative. That's what he's doing here on the Twitter. He's trying to control his own narrative, Larson. I got it right over here on the Patreon as well. Let's see here. Nick Kyle asks, we already sort of talked about this a little bit. If he was in a faction in New Japan, Nick Kyle wants to know what faction it would be.
Who? Cesaro?
Yeah,
Claudio?
Cesaro. Claudio.
Suzuki-gun.
Do they still do stuff there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Put him in a tag team. Have a, honestly, what they need to do, break up the Dangerous Techers. I'm sorry. I think that Zack Sabre Jr., he's slumming it with Taichi. The guy's like three different gimmicks all wrapped into one. He's a good wrestler.
I know, they're all great, though. He's a great wrestler. All his gimmicks are great.
But Taichi, I feel like, is sort of outkicking his coverage, as they say.
What I like about Taichi is even part of his story is that sometimes he takes it easy. He cruises sometimes, but then when he kicks it into full gear, man, he's great. Yeah. Sometimes he'll kind of coast. That's like part of his story. Yeah, it's fantastic.
That appeals to you. You're like, I relate to that. Yeah, I feel that.
Most phoned in podcast in all pro wrestling. This one
got it. You got that right, buddy. Yeah, that's good. But no, man, Zack Sabre Jr. and Cesaro. I'm sorry, and Claudio. I got to start calling him Claudio. Claudio. Yeah, man, that's good stuff right there. I'd like to see that. Jacob says, with Jade on a Goldberg-esque streak, who do you want to see end it? Who should end it? Prime Joy Bearding says Cesaro should become one of the Pillmans. No.
AEW should sign Athena. Ember Moon.
Oh, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then down the line, have her be the one that eventually beats Jade.
That's good. I'd like it to be Ruby Soho. I think that like already, like, I don't know, what is she even doing now? Probably on Dark and Elevation. Man, they need to load up some more time for their women's division, dude.
That is true.
My goodness gracious.
That is true.
I mean, I don't know. The Serena Deeb, can the Serena Deeb rookie challenge go on Darker Elevation? You don't need that every week. Let's see.
Well, I mean, if the whole setup for that is they're going to debut somebody that's going to beat her.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen on TV. You need to have the whole gimmick go on TV.
Like half, but dude, actually, the rookie challenge is a great thing that you could do. The thing that you could do on Dark and Elevation primarily, but like once every 3 weeks you put it on TV. But then you can show recaps of her doing that from Dark and Elevation. That's
they usually don't show. They don't usually show a whole lot of recaps of Dark Elevation.
No, they don't, but they should. That's how a way you should use Dark and Elevation to enhance stuff for TV. Yeah, because Ruby's got, man, she's got everything, and she could do the whole underdog thing. Athena's a great answer. Tony Storm, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. She's so overpowered. Who? Let me ask you this: who should have beat Goldberg's original streak instead of that cattle prod business?
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous.
That was horrible. Oh, Maggie says Layla Hirsch. Oh, that'd be great.
Booker T should have been the one to end the streak.
I agree with that. That's a great answer. Man, that'd have been good. How about David Flair?
Mm-mm.
No? Bad answer.
No.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Bad answer.
DDP.
Didn't really need it.
Oh, I got Disco Inferno.
Let's move on. All right.
Okay, we'll move on. I'm not getting anywhere with that one. Mountain Bike Jesus. Do you think Cody was planning this whole Homelander thing all along, or do you think he was truly caught off guard when he started getting booed, tried to fight it, and realized his only option was to embrace it? I personally think the latter. Man, I can't. If Cody just would have stopped with his promos, he was killing himself for this damn company, for those damn fans. The flaming table spot should have given him guaranteed a year of just
adoration, just pure.
What do they call it? The Road Warrior pop? Yeah, that's what he should have got.
Man, you've gone from staunch Cody critic to arguably number one fan.
I use logic. Bro, he put himself through a flaming table.
Yeah, you could respect someone for that, but doesn't mean you have to cheer for them if their character doesn't appeal to you.
Man, I watched. Hey, we got a going in review coming up. King of the Ring 96. Guess who gets the biggest pop on that show?
I mean, I don't know who else is on the card, so I'll speculate. I don't know, Sid.
He wasn't on the card. Nope, nobody was around back then. So I'll give you some of the matches. We had Stone Cold versus Mark Marrow. You had Smoking Guns versus the Midian guys, the Godwins. The Sonny was with them, with the Smoking Guns. You had Lawler versus the Ultimate Warrior. You had Shawn Michaels versus the dog guy, Davey. What's his face? British Bulldog.
Davey Boy Smith. Did Sonny get the loudest pop?
Ahmed Johnson. By the way, Ahmed Johnson had a God tier Intercontinental Championship. The strap was gold.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was him versus Goldust. So what did you just say?
Did Sonny get the loudest pop?
No, and it wasn't even close. It was Ultimate Warrior.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the show, even his entrance for the Lawler stuff, which was awful dud match. But at the end of the show, they do a big sort of scrum thing. Oh, and Vader was on the card too. Where like HBK and Ahmed, I think, were fighting off Cornette's crew. So it was Vader, the Bulldog, Owen. And so Ultimate Warrior comes out last to try to help make the save for the faces. And the crowd goes nuts. Just nuts. And it was right after that Warrior started no-showing. Because here's the thing. He's like, man, I'm getting the biggest pops, Vince. Give me some more money. Vince's like, no. I'm like, are you kidding me? He could have led the Attitude Era into new heights, Larson, the Ultimate Warrior.
Probably not.
Ultimate Warrior and HBK as the original DX. Amazing.
Ugh. No, that sounds awful.
Suck it.
No, I don't know if Warrior would have said that.
Suck it. Let's see here. Eddie Brock's Venom. At what point should AEW stop bringing in XWWE guys? Because I'm sure they don't want to be like 05 TNA, or is basically a dumping ground. I think they're going to probably slow up a little bit because they have a lot of people. They got way too many people. But they're very selective. Like, hey, you're going to say no to Keith Lee?
I know.
You're going to say no to Swerve?
I know.
No, of course not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Moses opposes. Who will be the first person to be a 4-time TNT champion to beat Cody's record?
So Sammy already has 2 reigns. Miro has 1. Darby has 1.
I feel like if anybody, it's going to be Sammy at this point.
Seems like.
I feel like Sammy is like he's going to be the new Mr. TNT champion.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
Seems that way. I'll hope for Miro.
Mm-hmm.
Still want Miro to come in and destroy Sammy and get that belt back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That'd be good.
I miss Miro on my TV every week.
I miss Miro quite a bit.
It was just such a new kind of fresh take on a wrestling storyline. Done so well.
It was done really well.
I miss Miro.
It was done really well. That level of poetry in wrestling, where he's talking about being cursed with his neck and
so good.
Oh man, and all the sex stuff, that was good. Anyways, All right. Yeah, he's injured right now. He'll come back. He'll be back.
Yeah, he should be back soon, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow for our Rampage watch-along and our SmackDown and Rampage recaps tomorrow night at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, talk to you later.
Goodbye.